Hey guys, how's it going? So, just a little recap then. So, yesterday we made a start on the game save. Let me just close this. Yeah, we made a start on the GameSaveManager. We're working towards being able to have the system where we can either start a new game or continue a game, and later on down the line we'll work towards a load system. We laid some of the groundwork. So we've got our GameSaveManager, GameSave interface, GameSave object. The game instance is creating an instance of the GameSaveManager. So we take a little look in here, just as a rough guideline of how it's going to work. So what we're ultimately trying to do is we're trying to build a valid GameSave object before we launch the game. So we want this, and then we launch. So we're either going to create a new game, and then when we're creating a new game, we're going to create a new game save slot, and we're going to apply the core gameplay info, such as the level, game mode, etc. Or if we're continuing or loading, we're going to load that slot, and that will give us a valid save game object, or if we created a new save object. So either path will give us a valid save game object, and then when we launch into game, whatever needs to access it will access that save game object. It won't really matter if it's a new game or one that's been loaded previously. So the first parts to that is we're going to flesh out the GameSaveManager with the functions we need. So we've already got the pointer to the GameSave object. So this will either be from the loaded slot, or when we create a new slot, we'll get a object. We need the method to return that GameSave object so people can access it. Does slot exist? So that's going to enable us to either disable or enable the continue button or load button in the main menu. And further down the line, that will be used to validate slots. For now, we're just going to do like a single slot system. But because we've got the GameSaveManager, we'll later on be able to expand that. Create new save with a slot index, user index, and a core gameplay info object passed into it. So that's going to be used for when we create a new game, and that will return a new game save object, and then load game save. So this will load the slot, and that will also give us a valid. So that will be used by this system here. So with those help functions there, we should then be able to apply those to use these processes here in theory. And then this is a very sort of high level version of what we're trying to do. New game, create a new save, get a game save object, launch the game, or continue, load a game save object. Now we've got a valid object and launch the game. That's kind of what we're aiming for. Okay, so let's see what we've got already so far. So we're mainly going to be working in the GameSaveManager. I've also, just as reference, I've opened up the gameplay statics header file. This is one of the engine files, and it's got all the definitions of save data to slot, async save game to slot, all the methods related to game saves are there. So I'm going to keep that open as a reference. So we've already got the pointer. So just to break into it a little bit easier, I'll start with the get game save object, and then we'll go from there. So It's going to return a pointer to GameSave object, and we'll call it the same as, so get call. That needs to be pointer, and this wants to be a function, and it's be a const. Yeah. And it's going to be a new function. We want it to be a blueprint pure. We're just getting the item, and yeah, that should be fine. Maybe give it category. Okay. It's be a nice, easy method. There we go. Okay. So, easy beginnings, just to break us in. Okay, so keep making our way through these methods. So let's define these first. Does not exist. Index user index. So we'll just make the definitions first and then we'll implement them afterwards. There's probably going to be a ball. And 52 slot index. So we're not actually going to worry about users now. That's more of like a, I believe it's to do with on consoles, different users on there, but we want to make sure it's there. Should we worry about that later? New function, blueprint. Probably going to be pure again. Okay. And then create a new save. And we, as part of that, we want to pass in the core gameplay info. So just a reminder, the core gameplay info is the information we're storing when we're creating a new game. So the level selection, the game mode selection, all that stuff there. So we're going to feed that to the GameSaveManager. And that will handle creating the new GameSave object and applying that info there. So that means we need to include core gameplay info, which is data. Okay. And what is this going to return? Let's see. Create GameSave object just returns the GameSave object. Okay, well, we'll just do void for now. And then we want to pass in Yeah, cool. Play info. And it's going to be a blueprint callable. Okay. That's fine. And load game save. And as we have the does slot exist method, we should be able to validate that. But for now, we're only going to have one anyway, so not a big deal. Okie dokie. Cool. All right. So let's start to actually build these then. So this one should be reasonably straightforward. Yeah. So what I'm going to do for now is create just going to create that for now. So that's going to be our single slots for now. So although we are setting up the methods to take in a slot index and user index, we're going to use that later when we make this a bit more complex. But for now, we're pretty much going to ignore those and we're just going to use slot 0, 1. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to do for now. So let's come here. And this is where I want gameplay static. So we may need to include this, I believe. Kismet gameplay static. There we go. All right. So does slot exist? There's M1 in here somewhere. Does save game exist? There we go. The ball, text slot name and a user index. Okay, that's fine. And for now, let's just do this. Single slot user index equals 0. So again, we're just hard coding that for now. We just want to set the methods up to receive one. Later on, we'll deal with that. Let's just do that instead. Okay, so that's a static. does save game exist? Gameplay statics. Does save game exist? Slot name. And okay, we'll use that. User. Okay. So that's just work. Go in. So we may not actually need to have that. That's fine. So yeah, slot name is that. So we're just hard coding it for now. Then later on we'll deal with that. Cool, so that should be fine. Create game save object. Alright, so this one. Let's do that last because that's going to be a bit more complicated. We'll do the load game save first. Load game from slot, which is going to give us a save game object. Okay. What we're doing here, gameplay statics. Load game from slot. Slot name. User index. Okay. So that is returning a game save object, and we want it to be cast to our uCall game save object, and we'll write it to this. So cast game save object. Okay. That should be fine. Double check that. So it's just going to display a message if so that should be fine. Okay. And then finally this one. So this has got a little bit more to do. It's got to create the new game save object. It then needs to set the core gameplay info to that object. Then we need to save that to slot. Yeah, cool. So we'll take a look at gameplay statics. And there's a method in here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Create save game object. T subclass of uSaveGame. So that's going to be our class, the core game save object class, and that will return a game save object for us. Okay. So What's it called? What I'm actually going to do is take this, comments, just so we've got it as a bit of a reference. Create, save, game object. And we need the class. So you call GameSave object. Class. Oh. Alright. Maybe. No. So shoot. Oh. Do a quick check. Oh, static class. There we go. There we go. That should. Yeah. Okay. So, what do we want this to do? We need this returns an object. Which we should be able to store in to our pointer to a uGameSave object. We may need to cast that. Okay, and now we want to take this core gameplay info and apply that to the GameSave object. Not sure if I've actually added that to the object yet. Let's take a little look at that. No. Okay, so we need to include this core gameplay info. So the GameSave object is going to keep that stored. So we need to include it. Data. And just a reminder, that's the struct that holds the information about the game, such as the level and the game mode and all those options. So what is that? Is that yeah, that's a struct. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So now we've got that there. Go back to our GameSaveManager. And I'll create GameSave object. So we've created the object. Let's do a check to make sure it is valid. Okay, object. And copy this. else. Cool. Okay, save object. Core gameplay info equals. Okay, so the core gameplay info that was passed into this method, we built the GameSave object, and now we're setting that core gameplay info on the GameSave object. Now we need to save that GameSave object to slot. That should be the final step of that. Save data to slot. No, not that one. Save game to slot. There we go. So this one here. Anyway. So again, we'll put this in a comment just so we can use that as a reference. So it's a ball. Okay, so just returns if it was successful. What we might do then is convert this to be ball. And we will return the result of what this is going to be. Let's go to false. Okay, so new gameplay statics, save game to slot. So we're saving that new GameSave object that we've just created. That slot name, we're going to use our hard-coded slot name for now, and user index, the one that was fed in. Cool. And return that. So let's just cool. Alright. Try building that. Don't think so. Well, there may be. I'm not sure. I don't know. So we've got this one done, this one done, this one done. Alrighty. So what do we need to do now? So let's start with the easy bit. We'll, on the main menu widget, we will use the GameSaveManager, check if the slot exists, and we'll enable or disable the continue button. Let's take a little look into that. Okay, so we're going to change this. This is going to be close that. So we're going to make this continue. Okay, hold on. Need to actually adjust the text. There we go. Yeah. Continue. And the button, we'll change this to be called button. And we can have this disabled by default. Is enabled if removed. Okay, cool. Right, so there's that. We want to now have it so we go into new game, we do whatever. When we press start, we want to get the GameSaveManager to create that new game save. So we need to go into that's our start button. At the moment it's just currently didn't open that one. But really what we need it to do here is call the GameSaveManager. So get an instance of the GameSaveManager, create a GameSave object, and then we'll move to the, once it's done that, then it goes to the new game. Yeah, I might collapse it. Not too fast. For now, I just want to visually see it kind of turning on and off. But yeah, either way, works well. So going to get, so it's the game instance that is currently instance. I probably need to cast this to core. Okay. Then we need the GameSaveManager. In order to do that, we need to add that method. Be a const function. Blueprint your save. Do this. Yeah, GameSaveManager. Cool. That should be fine. I'll read like that. Okay. All right. Now we want to call our create game save object, that we made. So we need this, which we should have, because it is. So we're calling it from inside our selection widget. We're calling it from here, which has this. It's protected, so we should be able to access that. Just get that. Because it's oops, that's going to fail because it is open, so it's slightly different hotkey for some unknown reason. Do that instead. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we can call the create game save object. We'll leave slot index at 0, user index at 0. We'll print a message just in case there was an issue. Okay, so this is the GameSaveManager. We're taking in the core gameplay info. The GameSaveManager then creates a new save object. It then sets that core gameplay info on the GameSave object, and then it should save game to slot. So we should actually be able to, if I quickly look up where Unreal Engine stores game save data, saved sync. I'm presuming that's in the within the folder here. Probably. Let's see what happens. So new game, start. Oh, there we go. Cool. All right, sweet. So we're successfully creating the new slot game save. Good. All right, we're on the right track. So that should actually be set up now for when we launch the game. What we should now see is, oh yeah, we haven't actually done the code to make the continue button show up. So we'll do that, and that's on the main menu. Is variable. Okay. And we'll just do this on construct. similar process, go instance, cast to our game instance. Get the save manager. Then does not exist. And then branch. Okay. Okey-dokey. And take this. Set a new mode. And actually, if we're smart, we can actually just go straight into this. Does slot exist? Yes. Is enabled? Yeah. Okay. That should be fine. Let's just call it this. Tidy this up a little bit. And then let's tidy this up into a function. Continue button enabled. Yeah, that'll do. And we will tidy this up. Okey-dokey. Oh. Hey. Yeah. Okay. We are cast into your game instance at construct. You can just remove cast from start button, right? I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Remove cast from start button. I'm not sure. Alright, so if I delete that save, cool, that's working. And if I create a new, cool, sweet, okay. So the final piece of this puzzle is when we press the continue button, we should load the game save. Yeah. And that's going to be from the main menu. Now, yeah, so you need to unclick. Yeah, one optimization I'd like to make at some point is, because we have the game save interface, I want to have a default get GameSaveManager interface method. So instead of manually getting a game instance and doing all that, if an item has got the game save interface, they can just call the get GameSaveManager. So I'll worry about that later. I'm not too worried about it right now. It's not really going to have a massive impact. It's just a little messy. So similar deal here. We want to, when we click the continue button, we want to load the slot. So it's going to be a similar process. We're going to get the GameSaveManager from the game instance. Put this into GameSave. So yeah, basically instead of doing all this, later on we'll add a method in the GameSave interface to just directly get the GameSaveManager instead of having to do this multiple times. But I'm not too worried about it. It's a menu, it's not doing this lots of times, it's not going to really have any impact. Really, what I should be doing is check that it is valid. That we should be doing. That's the case. Okay. Then load GameSave. Cool. Okay. So no actual visual feedback at the moment. We can't actually see what is happening. So in the background, what is happening? We have the GameSaveManager, and the GameSaveManager has a pointer to a GameSave object. When we press to start a new game, it's creating a new GameSave object and it's saving that to slot. So we now should have a valid GameSave object. Alternatively, if we press continue, although nothing appears to be happening now, it should be loading that GameSave object from the slot. Either way, whichever path we took, we should now have a valid core GameSave object, in theory. So now what we should be able to do is actually launch into the level, and we should be able to access that GameSave object and go from there. So I think that's actually kind of that done. Although, yeah, it'd be nice to launch into the game and check it, but I'm pretty sure that's all good. So we set up the helper methods, implemented a start continue. That's it done. So yeah, we got rid of the load button for now. Later on, I'd like to have like proper slots, but deal with that later. We'll create a game state for the game. We'll do that. GUID system. I'm not sure what that is, to be honest. Okay, because I actually want to get into the game. I'm going to create the launch game method. So the idea behind the launch game method is when we go into the actual game level, pretty well, yeah, pretty much. So now we should have a valid GameSave object, which should have a valid and filled core gameplay info. Now we need to load the level, and then with our game mode info and our gameplay level, we're going to stream in the correct actual level. So we're going to have an empty level which we load into, and then we'll stream in the actual playable level. And we need to apply the game mode when we actually open that empty level. It's the same save system games used. I see. I'm just using Unreal Engine's built-in save system, but I'm making a GameSaveManager to kind of interface in between it. So I've got the GameSaveManager. We've got a few methods, but underneath they use Unreal Engine's built-in save system. It just kind of interfaces in between those. So now when we open, so we need the launch game function, which is going to be in our instance. Find that, so it's in core game instance. So that should be probably public launch game. And it shouldn't need any inputs because we are going to hopefully get the game mode from the GameSave object. And obviously the game instance is the owner of the GameSaveManager, so it should just be able to get it from that. Does it allow you to save huge numbers of saved data? No idea. I'm not sure, to be honest, what the sort of limits of it are, but it's their built-in system, so it should be like properly set up for proper game saves. I'm sure it's got an upper limit. We want this to be blueprint callable because we want our blueprints to be able to call it. Blueprint callable. Yeah, this stuff is pretty tricky, but hopefully once this is done, we can actually get to the interesting stuff. So what does this need to do? So this needs to get the selected game mode on the GameSaveManager. That's okay. So we need to go to that. We then need to get the path name from that game mode. We then need to make the option string for the open double method. Then we need to call open level and pass the selected game mode. Okie dokie. So this bit should be reasonably straightforward. So let's firstly check GameSaveManager. Check that's valid. Good. And we'll just return from there. So we want to get the gameplay info from that. And I believe we'll need to, I'm not sure if this is necessary. What do we need? We need the game save object. Save myself. Oh no. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting the game save object. Now we want the gameplay info from it. let's just do a check. So this will be another failsafe. Okay. Okie dokie. So okay. So we've got the gameplay info, which we can now get the selected game mode from. Info and game mode. Cool. Let's check that. So this, oh, I did get a bit of help from the old chat GPT on it. I was doing my research. Okay, so we need to get the path from the game mode. We then need to create a string for the game options, and then we can finally call the open level, passing in that game mode as an option, and now launch that level with that game mode set already. Cool. So that's what we're doing there. Yeah. Okay, so string with equals launch game mode get path name. Okay, cool. Now we need to build the string. That will be the, seems a little janky doing it this way, but okay. So that's building the string to be passed to the ones. Final thing we need to do, we need to have a pointer to the level. So let's put that here. So this is going to be the empty level that we go into, we need to put a pointer here so that we can go in editor and select that level. I believe that's what it's going to be. Level, like that. The defaults only. Potentially blueprint read only. Okay. Just to quickly check this. No, stop. So this should allow us to select this for a sec. Oh, because it was running. Okay. Right. So this should allow us to select that empty level. Use undefined type in game please. Here potentially. Just going to try and find the include for that. Game framework. Framework. Cool. Okay. Now let's try that. Oh, I see. Now, thank you. Cool. So, yeah, sorry, I'm not really saying much. Just it's a little complicated. So we should now be able to, in this game instance, there we go. Okay. Okay, so this is actually going to be, we'll call this launch level. Okay, that's fine. Launch game level. So it should now have pointer to that. Game launch level. Okay. That is pretty much that. And finally, call the open level. So we need gameplay statics. Oh, right, good stuff. Open level by soft object pointer. So should be game launch level. Right. No, right. Word. Now game launch level. And open level options. Cool. So we should now be able to call that method from our widgets. So when we start a new game, we create the GameSaver object. And then let's actually put this into launch new game. That's right to local. Move that to there. Let's now just and we can actually launch the game. Game launch level is invalid. Okay, what's that? Right. Interesting. It should be. Instance. Here. Yep, that's fine. Okay. I wonder if it's because I'm cast into the C++ and not that blueprint. And actually, have we actually got that set? Yeah, so we're using the blueprint game instance. And then set up here. Why is it saying? Launch level, yeah. That's just for shits and giggles. It might crash the engine, but we'll know for sure. So it shouldn't be invalid because it's selected in the no. But launch game mode was invalid. Oh, I see. We are launch game mode. Right. So okay, let's do this. Try to figure out why this isn't working. Select game mode on that. Game launch level was invalid. wonder if it's just not a legit way of testing. Just in case we crash. Definitely picking that. Okie dokie, let's take a little look. So it's populating the game mode info. That should be fine. Yeah. Okay, well, never mind. So it's probably the way I'm checking if these are valid. So let's see. It's valid. So the fact that it's not actually crashing the game means that they are valid. It just seems to be the way that I'm checking that. Strange. Let's try that. Stimulus. So we should get past those checks. And we know they are valid and they do work. So there's just something wrong with the way we're trying to validate it. Selecting those. Yeah, I don't know why. Hold on. Validate. We can just call launch level. Okay. And then so actually that should be fine as is. No, why it doesn't like that, even though it is valid. Let's see. Hmm. Yes, a path is fine. And we can check the path. Hmm. Well, we'll worry about that later. Sorry. That. We'll address that at some point, but it seems to be like a false negative because if I remove it, it does actually, it is valid. And continue. Yeah. Oh, okay, there we go. Cool. Alright, so we're now in the launch game level. Game mode has been set. Cool. Right. And what happens if we continue? Ah, yeah, I'll actually program here. Cool. Okay, so the final step then is on the continue method. Call that launch game. Then we should be done here. And then finally we can get to the interesting stuff. So pre-game, widgets, main menu, continue button, and click. Let's create a function. Save game. So we've loaded the game save, and now we're actually going to launch the game. here. Could just be another false negative, but we'll check it. So what we'll check is that the game save object is correctly populated. Okay. So we know that when we create a new save, it works correctly because we're pulling the game mode from that game save object when we create a new game. So it must be something with the load method. So let's just check that. Put a breakpoint here as well. So we'll check the contents of the game save object. So empty. But why? just try and override start. Okay, let's see what's actually been saved. So for some reason, when we load game from slot, this object is empty. It's not filling the data correctly. So we're going to check the GameSave object that's being created. Yeah, so that's all being filled out correctly, and it's being saved to slot. Then it should just work. Yeah, for some reason it's not filling that properly. Why is that? Let's try ChatGPT. Oh, I'll actually give them this to see what it says. So that's working. So the save object must be working because it's been saved. Oh, okay. Yeah, it must have been the U properties then. Okay, cool. I see. Okay, that makes sense. So to actually convert it to the save data, it needs the U property there. Okay, cool. So and what I would like to do is, just to get some visual feedback, is in our game modes, if I can find them. There we go. Okay. Just something random. Sound mode. Okay. And then in the little blueprint, new game, set the play level, set the campaign mode, launch into main launch level. Oh, didn't see what that said. Campaign mode, launch campaign mode. Cool, good. Now if I continue, launch campaign mode, good. I do new game, sandbox, launched in sandbox mode, okay. And if we continue, cool. Hallelujah, good. So we've now got the basic save load system implemented. We can create a new game, set the level, set the campaign, and start. And we launch into the empty level. And we can confirm we've got the correct game mode here. We can close the game. And we can continue. Loaded same object. We've got this here. We then start a new game with sandbox mode. Launched into here. And if I continue again, sandbox mode, which we can confirm here. Cool. Finally. Okay. So the next steps then will be to stream in the correct level. It should be pretty straightforward because that GameSaver project that we're now using contains the struct that has the selected level. I also want to just check that the default values are set correctly. So if we go to new game and I don't press anything, well, actually, let's see what happens. Yeah, so game mode is invalid. So we want to just make sure we've got default values set up in the structs. So for example, it might be level 1 campaign mode, and that'll also tie into having on the natural UI having default selected. So we'll kind of work towards that. Then yeah, once we've got the level streaming in, then we should be actually make a start on the actual gameplay after that. Would be nice. One last boring thing I would like to do is do the pause menu, which will also have one of the save triggers in there, and then yeah, we can start building up for that. Go from there. So I think that'll do it for today. Thank you very much. See you next time.